What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update for you guys. And there was some breaking news not long ago on Sky Sports from Sky Sports Lyle saying that Tottenham are in talks for Nikola Milenkovic after his proposed move to West Ham has broken down. I mean, I said a week or two ago that I think that Milenkovic would be a perfect centre-back partnership with Christian Romero. And if we can get this over the line, I'll be so happy. I mean, for the prices that are banded about for him, I think it's a no-brainer, to be honest.
Yeah, 1 year left in his contract. We know that we've been interested in him all summer. We know he's available for a fairly modest fee of 15 million. So I think this deal is probably the one most likely to happen if we're going to sign a centre-back of quality to kind of replace Sanchez, I think. I still think we're waiting to sell one before we buy. That's my gut feeling. Sky Sports do go on to say that they believe this deal is in... They said that there have been talks for Tomiyasu, and this deal is now in relation to that deal. They said the deal for Tomiyasu has not been agreed to. Spurs are now looking into Milenkovic. Wow. So whether it's one or the other, or whether we do see Milenkovic as Tomiyasu as centre-back or not, I mean, it remains to be seen, doesn't it? Because I thought we saw Tomiyasu as right-back. Maybe Sky Sports have got their wires crossed. Maybe we're in for both. Yeah. They're saying it's Milenkovic is in response to Tomiyasu maybe not being agreed.
Yeah, I mean... It fits in, though, because I think Jack Pickbrook was talking today, and he was saying that we're only going to sign 2 players from now to the end of the window, and one of them will be a centre-back and one of them will be a striker. So we might not even sign a right-back, which is so worrying.
Yeah, but Dan Kilpatrick said we're in for a midfielder as well. So it's
no one's saying a right-back, though.
Huh?
No one's saying right-back.
Defender could be a right-back.
Definitely need a right-back. I think, for me, right-back's the most needed position in the whole squad.
Definitely, considering who we have there. You know, there's no like light at the end of the tunnel right back.
Exactly.
At the moment. That's the worry. So you're probably right in that aspect. But look, Milenkovic I'd be happy with. He does start tonight, by the way, Fiorentina. Him and Vladovic, who we'll get into in a bit. They both start tonight, and so it looks like there's no deal in the offing just yet. But yeah, Milenkovic I think is the one who, in terms of realistic price and in relation to his quality, I would like to see.
All right, let's move on. Dusan Vlahovic. This is Nikola Milenkovic's Fiorentina teammate. This one's from Calcio Mercato, and they say Fiorentina are prepared for the potential departure of Dusan Vlahovic, with Sassuolo's Gianluca Scamacca having been identified as a possible replacement for Vlahovic. So planning for life without Dusan, it looks like.
Yeah, and Lungari's actually 1 minute ago just tweeted saying Fiorentina, as anticipated in the case of excellent starts in the front name of Scamacca, could become a priority for Fiorentina. Vlahovic is in the notebook of Tottenham and Atletico, but no official offers have arrived yet. So clearly he's backing up what you've just said, and again, I just think he's going to be too much unless we sell Kane. I can't see us spending that amount of money on a player unless we're getting a lot of money in. So yeah. I love Vlahovic again. All this talk is exciting, but it's exciting only to an extent.
Let's move over to Pau Torres. This one's from Pedro Sepulveda, and he says Villarreal accepted Tottenham's offer of 45 million euros plus 5 million euros in add-ons for Pau Torres, but the player rejected the move. Torres has stated his desire to play in the Champions League. Yeah. I mean, there's one thing playing in the Champions League, but it's not like Villarreal are going to go that far, you know what I mean?
Who was, I can't remember who this source was, but this is obviously following a story from the Times,
right,
which broke earlier today, which was saying Tottenham are very interested or making a move for Pau Torres for his release clause of 55 million. Obviously, they haven't said that Pau Torres rejected us. It's a smaller Spanish journalist who has reported this. Apparently, he is quite reliable, so that is not bad, but he's also not as mainstream. He's kind of a smaller journalist out in Spain. So it depends on who you believe right now. But I'd be very happy if we got someone like Pau Torres through the door. But it screams of selling Kane if we get Pau Torres for 55 million, unless we're not signing anyone else.
Well, I think Jack Pickbrook also said today that the centre-back that we do sign is going to be for cheap. It's not going to be like an expensive one like 30, 40 million plus. It's going to be more like the 10, 20 million mark.
Yeah, so maybe it's a case where Pau Torres, maybe it was one of those deals like Martinez was agreed before, and then I don't know, and he rejected us. We went for Romero. I doubt that, but I don't know. I'm happy that we're going for him, but I don't know what the implications of that are.
We'll see about that. We'll see how the window plays out. But next up, talking about implications, this is about Harry Kane. And this is from Sami Mokbel from the Daily Mirror. And he says, Kane will make himself available for selection for the game against Man City despite all the associated subplots. Final decision will be with Nuno, though. Potential fitness and financial risks if Nuno picks him, of course. We've had our say on this, and we both think that, he could be on the bench this weekend.
Yeah, he could be, and that would be very interesting if he is. Even if he doesn't come on, I still think it's interesting if he's on the bench. If he plays any part, that definitely is telling in my book. And obviously, if he starts, that's extremely telling. But it'll be interesting to see in the terms of team selection if he's in the squad once the team comes out. I think that'll be one to look out for definitely on Sunday. And I think Harry Kane, this cloud isn't going to go away until there's a definitive answer. Obviously, hopefully we're getting to the end of the saga, but. It's good that he trained, and hopefully he will be on the squad on Sunday.
Yeah, we're just under 3 weeks away till the end of the saga.
Mm-hmm.
James Ward-Prowse, Charlie Eccleshare says Tottenham would likely want more than £50 million for James Ward-Prowse. However, Tottenham do very much like him. I mean, that's a non-starter then, isn't it?
Well, it was obvious. Well, how much do you think they're going to ask for him? You know what I mean? Obviously, Villa had a £25 million bid rejected a few weeks ago, which was extremely derisory. £25 million for Ward-Prowse, who's captain of Southampton.
They're trying it. They tried it with Emil Smith-Rowe as well.
And he had a 5-year deal signed last year. So I think that's a pretty insulting offer, in my opinion.
I think they also tried like 20 million for Smith-Rowe or something.
Yeah, which I don't think is as insulting because he's a younger player, he's not as established. But for Ward-Prowse, I think that's an extremely insulting offer. It's always going to be a big offer to prize him away. So I always thought this was going to be an unlikely deal.
Would he be worth 50 million though?
No.
I
mean, I think in some contexts, maybe. I don't think for Tottenham though.
There's a lot much better players out there for 50 million than James Ward-Prowse, surely.
Yeah, I just think for Tottenham, he's not worth paying 50 million to bring in. I think, like, for example, if we were desperate for a centre mid, right, like in his mould, like to start every game, and there weren't many other options, I think he could be worth 50 million. But I think in Tottenham's current position and the options that we currently have, I don't think he's worth 50 million to us.
All right, let's move on. Aurier and Sissoko updates from Jack Pitbrook, and he says there has been no interest in Aurier whatsoever, but Tottenham are more confident of moving Sissoko along, with a few teams interested along the way. But Sky Sports Lyle says it is understood a move for Tottenham defender Serge Aurier recently broke down over disagreements about his appearance at next January's Africa Cup of Nations. So a bit of conflicting... a conflict there from Jack Pitbrook and Sky Sports Lyle.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Pitbrook usually is probably more reliable, I think, that I find than Sky Sports. Sky Sports used to be like the pinnacle of like reliability, and when they say something, it's true. They don't quite have that same reputation anymore.
Them Sly Sports now.
Yeah, exactly. They don't quite have the same reputation as they used to, unfortunately, for Sky Sports. I still think like if they're definitive about something, it's usually true. But when they say like these kind of things, I don't know, sometimes they're not as reliable. So I'm more tended to believe Jack Pitbrook, and it is disappointing that I don't know who came in for him, but if it did break down because of that, that's frustrating. I don't know what the disagreement. Maybe they didn't want him to play and he wanted to play, but why would you demand he doesn't play African nations? Maybe it's a difficult one to ascertain. Yeah,
'cause you can miss up to a month of the season.
I guess, but that's what you get when you sign African players. They're always going to go for that competition.
Yeah,
I guess, and maybe the condition if they sign him was you can't play African nations. That's what broke the deal down, which would be an odd thing to do. Haven't really heard of that before, but is what it is. Hopefully, there's someone comes in for him.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, he does have a year left in his contract. If we don't get rid of him now, I mean, we are stuck with him.
And he wants to leave. Like, he's ready to go. So it's about just finding a buyer.
Lautaro Martinez is another one from Jack Pitbrook here, and he says Tottenham want to bring in one attacking player, with Martinez still the top target and Spurs willing to spend big on that position, and a defender, either a centre-back or a right-back, it says.
Yeah, I mean, yes, he's our top target, but I feel like it's a bit like the Conte and Pochettino situation, where we're going to spend all our time on a pipe dream, which we're never prepared to actually go for. Like, It's a bit like similar to Conte, where Conte was there for us. We can get him if we want him, but we're never actually going to spend the money to get him and guarantees.
Stumping up.
Exactly. So as much as we want Martinez and he might agree to join us, are we actually going to stump up the cash? I think it's a pipe dream, unfortunately, that we're actually going to spend that money. So, and not without selling Harry Kane anyway. So for me, if we're going to go for a striker that we want to play with Kane, let's not go for unrealistic options, waste time basically, because there's not long left. So I think Martinez is a waste of time right now in terms of the deal. I think it is in
place of Harry Kane though.
Huh?
I think it is in place of Harry Kane though. I know everything we've heard it is to come and play with Harry Kane, but I just don't buy it.
If it's to replace Harry Kane, then yeah, cool. Then I don't think it is a waste of time. But if it's not to replace Harry Kane, I think we're wasting our time because we're not going to spend the money. We're not. So we might as well move on.
The end of this Harry Kane saga already, man. It's just driving me nuts. I hate every second of it. I really do. Like, if he's going to go, I just wish he would have gone already. But then I can see the talking point of why he hasn't gone, because we need to get our targets in before he goes. But ultimately, I think he's gone. Last update is from Andre Hernan on Shakhtar right back Dodo, Brazilian right back Dodo. Tottenham Hotspur have had a €20 million bid for Shakhtar Donetsk right back Dodo rejected, but negotiations do continue. I mean, before I heard this update, I'd never heard of him before.
I thought the Dodos were extinct.
Yeah, they are. We're bringing them back, baby.
Bringing them back, exactly. Look, I don't know who he is, not going to lie. I don't watch Shakhtar. I know he has a few caps for Brazil under 23s. I'm not also...
Bring him in!
Apparently on FM he's good. Look, we need a right back. I'm not going to lie. If we signed a 22-year-old right back who's quick, even though he's from Shakhtar, I'd probably be happy with it if he's cheap. So, but I look...
Shakhtar have brought through some good players before.
They do.
Especially they have Brazilian players.
Yeah, they have a good conveyor belt of talent that usually goes through their system. So, not youth system, but they usually have good recruitment in that front.
Yeah, they've got a good youth recruitment from South America.
Yeah, they do. They really do. So, maybe there is something to it. But clearly, if they're rejecting €20 million, I doubt... Are we really going to go high? Unless we really believe in him.
Who came from Shakhtar? I know Willian. Willian came from Shakhtar, right?
Yeah.
Willian, Alex Teixeira.
Yeah.
Who else?
There was a few of them. Fernandinho.
Oh, yeah.
Fernandinho came from Shakhtar.
There was a lot
They've had
more
Dario
players.
Serna used to play for Shakhtar. They've had he's not Brazilian, but they've had a lot of talent. What was his name? Tyson. He was a pretty good player. Tyson. Taison. They've had a few Brazilian players down the years. Jadson, I remember. Douglas Costa.
Luis Adriano. Elano. So Douglas Costa, like you said. Yeah, so there's been a lot.
Fred they signed.
And the Everton player, Bernard, as well.
Yeah. So they've had a lot of talent come to Europe. Or they've been in Europe, but come to the top leagues and flourish. And
Eduardo da Silva as well.
Yeah, so they've had a lot of talent. So.
All right, well, that is your Tottenham update today. I cannot wait for the Premier League to kick off. Hopefully, as you're watching this, Arsenal are losing to Brentford, but I haven't seen... it's about half an hour to
Tony!
It's about half an hour to kick off as a time of recording this. So, look... I cannot wait for the Premier League to get underway. I cannot wait to beat Manchester City this weekend. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news we brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on you Spurs.